Hi, fans of high-quality entertainment. Today's video is sponsored by my Canadian Studmuffin membership. So, just once again, I would like to thank the 14 members I have so far, and hopefully I get more. I really do appreciate it. And what I try to do with my members is post my latest video about roughly, 20, 24 hours before it goes public. And also I've got a playlist, and so far I think I have 24 different videos, from the past that only members can see. So consider joining. Thanks. This video is on drummers who have great vocals. And, this is just my own opinion. Of course, yours might be a little different. But this is the list I came up with. I'll just move myself over here. Whoa. So I'll have the list here in just 1 second. But I also wanted to mention some of the drummers that have, very good vocals or great vocals that did not make my list include Peter Criss of Kiss. I love his vocals, especially on Black Diamond. Bill Ward of Black Sabbath. Not that he sang very much, but I love his vocals on It's All Right, the song from Technical Ecstasy. And I've heard bits of his solo albums too, and they're good. Sheila E., of course. I know, she's a great drummer. I don't know her music that well, but I always see her in these lists. So I wanted to give a shout out to her. Dave Grohl of Foo Fighters. I'm just, not a big fan of the Foo Fighters, but, he's a very good drummer, of course, and his vocals are good. I don't mind them. So these are my personal top 10. So here we go. Now, I did have a bit of a problem with number 10 due to copyright infringement, but I'll show it anyway. Yeah, I don't know how this happened, but when I did this video, I showed a picture of Don Henley of the Eagles, and right away, I got this warning, copyright infringement, so I cannot show his face for whatever reason. And I do want to mention, I've got a list of 5 songs by each of these top 10 artists. But unfortunately, once again, due to copyright, I can't mention the 5 Eagles songs that I kind of like with Don Henley on lead vocals. He does have a great voice, but he's not one of my favorite artists. Number 9. Not a big fan of this band. I guess you would call it a band, the Carpenters. But Karen Carpenter, definitely a lovely voice. And I'm sure most of you have seen her drum solo. It's on YouTube. There's a few videos of her doing drum solos, and she was a superb drummer, really good. So she had to be in the list. Number 8. Oh, and the songs. 5 songs, Close to You, We've Only Just Begun, Calling Occupants of Interplanetary Craft. Yes, the Klaatu song that the Carpenters covered. Rainy Days and Mondays and Top of the World. So number 8. From Blue Oyster Cult. Very good drummer. I think he's probably a little underrated as a drummer. And I've always liked his vocals. He would sing, maybe 1 or 2 songs per Blue Oyster Cult album. And the songs I chose, Cities on Flame with Rock and Roll from their debut album. My favorite Blue Oyster Cult song, Dominance and Submission. Death Valley Nights, The Revenge of Vera Gemini, and Sinful Love. Number 7. It's Ringo. Of course, Ringo doesn't have the greatest singing voice, but it's more, his personality. And in the Beatle years, it was always great to hear, one or two Ringo songs usually just one or none on a Beatles album. And so some of my favorite Ringo songs include Yellow Submarine, Boys, Don't Pass Me By, Octopus's Garden, and With a Little Help from My Friends, which I think is probably his best vocal in the Beatles. And, once again, a very good drummer. Number 6. Dennis Wilson of the Beach Boys. I almost forgot about him until I remembered. Of course, Forever. As great of a job as John Stamos does covering that song, I do prefer the Beach Boys version by a long mile. And Be With You, Do You Want to Dance, Cuddle Up, and Got to Know the Woman. And of course, he had a sadly a short but excellent solo career too. And he was also a very good drummer. If you see especially the early footage of the Beach Boys when they would perform live, and very good drummer. Number 5, Don Brewer of Grand Funk Railroad. Kind of similar to Don Henley, not one of my favorite artists these days, but definitely a really good drummer. Probably underrated. And also, I love his vocals. And some of his vocals were on We're an American Band, Some Kind of Wonderful, along with Mark, of course, Black Licorice, I Can Feel Him in the Morning from Survival, and Shining On. Who do you think number 1 is? Number 4. Levon Helm from the band. Lots of great songs. And, all of these are at least really good drummers, I feel. The Weight, Up on Cripple Creek, The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down, When I Paint My Masterpiece, and the very underrated song from Cahoots, The River Hymn. Number 3. It's Mickey from the Monkees. Yeah. Just of course, he was just probably a average drummer or under average drummer. But, he still did drum on some Monkees songs. And, but the talent was, of course, his vocals. And some of the great songs he sang in the Monkees, I'm a Believer, I'm Not Your Stepping Stone, Going Down, Randy Scow Skit, which might be my favorite Monkees song, and As We Go Along. Ooh, number 2 and number 1. I could almost flip them even now, but I'm going to stay with my choices. Number 2 is Roger Taylor of Queen, once again, an excellent drummer and excellent songwriter and excellent vocals. And some of the songs he did the lead vocals on were I'm in Love with My Car, Modern Times Rock and Roll, The Loser in the End, Fight from the Inside, and Tenement Funster. Number 1. There can only be one number 1. It is. I would say he's probably the the best drummer out of this list, at least for me. And also, even though I think I prefer Roger Taylor's vocals over Phil Collins, he's number one because he's also a amazing drummer, right? And he, it was what he did, early on in Genesis, he was just the drummer and he did a little bit of, background vocals or maybe one or two lead vocals on some of their albums. But when Peter Gabriel left, they were looking for another singer for a while, and then Phil just decided, I'll just do the vocals. And I saw them on their very first tour with him doing the lead vocals and, of course, playing drums too sometimes. And just an excellent stage performer, excellent singer. And, it's very sad about what's happened with his health, I guess, the last few years. But he's definitely, one of the greats. And so he is, for me, the number one drummer with great vocals. And that is it. I would love your thoughts in the comment section below. And who did I miss? I know I'm going to hear from my viewers. Where is so-and-so? Well, they're not on my list. Maybe they're on yours. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.